Hi again. Welcome to the People's Food Summit 2024 segment. I'm very privileged to host the European segment this year. I'm here with a person that I met online a few days ago, but we are now talking so much as if we've known each other for a long time, by the name Josefine, who is with the Akademie Schloss Kirchberg in Germany. Hi, Josefine.
Hi, Precious. So
Yeah,
lovely to
so you're
meet
welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I would love to share a little bit about Josefine. She was born at the foothills of the Alps in South Germany, and she completed her studies in design and product management in Salzburg, Austria. So that's where she focused on the EU's circular economy transformation plan. I'm quite excited that you are here because you have all this amazing experience, Josefine. You've also been an active designer in the intersections of transformation studies, landscape management, and architecture, always emphasizing on the systematic approaches that honor the dynamics of living systems and their unmeasurable vitalism, as well as their deep drive towards beauty. I welcome you today because you are also a big contributor to the European regenerative agriculture movement through the ERR. And I know that your academy also is a big place of gathering people and everyone from all walks of your guys' region. Please feel free to share and share abundantly as your heart leads.
Thank you, Precious. That was a very warm welcome, and I'm so honored to speak today to you and also to speak to the visitors and watchers of the People Food System Summit that you are bringing together, which is amazing. I do really think that the work that you're doing is brilliant. So well done. And yeah, you completely summarized perfectly. I've been with the Akademie Schloss Kirchberg for the last 3 years. After I've had a sort of non-linear way into working within agrarian communities and our agri-food system today. Very quickly sharing, I come from the design space and the transformation design space, which is quite young and has been sort of developed over the last 15 years, but is a beautiful space where creative people look at societal problems or trajectories for the future in terms of how they develop towards a more eco-social approach, really understanding our activities within the more than human world and our world together. And that has led me to the studies that I did. And then I lived in New Zealand for a while, studying it and working as well, and working especially at the intersections of land management, landscape architecture. And we had a lot of amazing encounters with and work and projects with Mana Whenua there that, as some of you might know, have their own design principles. So from stemming from the long history of Maori tikanga and culture, and that has been a very big shift for me in terms of understanding how, first of all, yes, we relate to natural environments around us, how we are totally embedded within it, how we are part of them, and how every design move that we do since the beginning of sort of crafting tools has been really, important steps on the way to how we form culture, how we form our communities, how we form our hierarchies and structures. And so we are all designers, but especially within this design realms, you have so many amazing tools and principles and pathways that have been shaped that really look into potential transformational processes that we can all collectively do together or shape together. And long story short, the design path led me towards issues of sustainability. Back then, sustainability was a big term. Not so much anymore. I think we're moving towards regeneration or even beyond, and those understandings of really how do we engage and how do we design the environments that we live in ultimately led to, there is always sort of a link to agriculture in our food system as the ultimate gateway into our interdependence with our natural environments. And from that shift in perspective, I returned back to Europe, and I started working more closely within the food system space. And for the last years here at the Akademie Schloss Kirchberg, after my master's studies then in Germany. And here we have a free research institute that is completely funded by either foundations or different sources of private funding. And we have been jokingly saying over the last year, it's sort of an economical place of everyone is invited to come here and to discuss and to join, and there is no boundaries or a very set sort of frame that we work within, and that makes it a very powerful and transformational place here. Maybe shall I quickly dive into the history of the Academy to give you an overview of how we got here?
Yes, just to also appreciate your introduction and the power of how every one of us is a designer. So how farm is a design, how you live with your neighbors, how you build, how you like the whole life is centered on design. And it was quite intriguing to just listen to you, just pull those pieces together. Yes, we are very excited to hear more about the Academy and the fact that it's really been channeling its energy towards availing opportunities to everyone. So yes, dig deep with the history, what you do, and if I have questions in between, I can ask to, to interject a little bit, but please feel free.
Perfect. So I think this history is quite interesting. So I'm really happy to share it. The Academy is or was founded under the roof of a foundation called Haus der Bauern, which translates to English House of Farmers. And that foundation, again, is the social welfare and socio-political foundation of our local farmers association that we have here, the Schwäbisch-Hällische Bäuerliche Erzeugergemeinschaft, a very long German word. But it is a local farmers association that works with around 1,500 farmers in the region who have basically built their own little cosmos here, working together, selling together the produce that they produce, may it be animal produce or grains, beans, and so on. There's a multitude of products. And the founder of that association, Rudolf Bühler, back in 2012, founded the Foundation House of Farmers to further propel farmers' rights locally here, but then also internationally. And the foundation is very much committed to freedom, cultural self-determination, social justice for the farming and the rural population here in the region, in Europe, and internationally. And from that foundation came in 2015 and the first workings on the Charter for Peasants' Rights that was then declared into a fully accepted charter in early 2018 by the United Nations, and it's called Global Peasants' Rights Charter. And the convenience of I think it was around 450 groups from around the world came together here 2017 to fully understand what kind of trajectories there are within rural and farming communities around the world towards freedom, peace, and having their rights were really heard, especially smallholders and small acre farmers. And the declaration that was then accepted by the UN in New York was a huge success, and that success led into further understanding, okay, we can really be a place of education and transformation from within this farmers association here. And the Farmers Association got later granted consultative status within the ECOSOC Council, so the Economic and Social Council with the UN Secretariat in New York, and therefore has rights to the UN in Geneva, New York, and Vienna, which is for a NGO or association that works on farmers' rights, quite a beautiful thing to engage within the wider global community on economic and social issues worldwide. And from there on, the foundation in 2015 acquired this beautiful castle that we are in. The story by Rudolf Bühler goes from the feudals to the farmers, so shifting hierarchies and power structures there as well. And yeah, this is where we are now situated. The Academy was founded in 2017 as the educational hub of the foundation, and we are an incredible small team. We're only 4 people here, and over the last nearly now, 7 years, I've been on board. For the last 3 years, we've built a whole educational program that is including all different farming systems that works towards the regeneration of our ecosystem and then work towards life and the building of life. So might it be organic, regenerative, agroecological, conservation, agriculture, and so on. They have different terms, but at the end of the day, they all unite under the common vision of really having healthy agriculture and food systems. Yeah, and my role within it, maybe to quickly share that as well, is to facilitate and conduct and curate the educational programs that lead from field days with farmers to soil health courses, very in-depth, to big conferences that act globally, like the World Organic Forum that we've just had in 2024, and Regeneration International was a big part of that. And Andre Loy was here sharing the incredible work that you've been doing with us. And we are connected to the European Alliance for Regenerative Agriculture, as you talked to Simon and the incredible Shaila, one of the founding farmers, because we've been over the last 3 years really actively sort of co-holding space for the emergence of the regenerative agriculture movement. Back in 2021, we brought the regenerative farming pioneers together with climate farmers here for the first climate farming congress that was still within COVID times. It was quite hard to bring European farmers together from all directions, but we succeeded. And through the years, we had 2 of those conferences, and at the second one, it was decided that it really needed a body on the European level by European farmers that totally self-determined can share their voices and their beliefs on the European stage. And yeah, the European Alliance was then founded here in the castle from us all together, and by an incredible 50 founding farmers. And that midwifing process has been very beautiful to watch, because we're seeing the incredible voices now really highlighted within the political discourse, as well as the social discourse on the European stage.
That's really incredible, and what a rich history. I like from the feudals to the farmers. What a complete turnaround on the usage of the castle. So maybe my question is, so in the education programs, are you guys the ones who educate, or you're in partnership with the farmer groups and different educators? You know, how does in this academy create a community of knowledge building, a community? Already I can sense that it's a community of bringing everyone together because we are all interested in regeneration, whether you're into permaculture, agroecology, and whatever, breaking those bonds. But how do you then bring the community together?
Yeah, so we do our own teaching programs, yes, but then it's a big place of convenience, so that we're working with local universities here, we're working with international organizations and NGOs, and for us the main objective is that we bring those people together, just as you say, host gatherings, provide spaces, provide platforms, and then have pioneers as well as the incredible farming community working on all of our shared topics come and sort of build upon the platform that we are providing. And we had never had a real vision that was only like the very set. What we do is really focus on freedom and self-determination for farmers. So if we conduct programs and educational programs, we get together lecturers as well as teachers and from the wider farming community and conduct programs. And then also we do our own research in collaboration again with the organic universities in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, looking at different climate change mitigation models within different farming systems, as well as more holistic approaches to bringing agroecological, organic, and regenerative models to farming communities here, and the association, as well as research programs that we have in Ghana, for example, in India, and we are sort of the coordinating hub for that here.
So as a person who's into design, I guess my question is, how important is this model of the academy? You know, because usually someone says academy, you see a big pool of a self-contained institution, but it looks like it's almost like mycelium. It just taps into all the living systems around it. Tap into farmer groups, into educational institutions and all that. Like, how important is this kind of model for designing? And I mean, go as broad as you can, because really in the end, it can influence the whole region. But then the way that you guys designed it, I feel like it's in such a way that it can spread and tap its roots to every stream of work around you guys.
Yeah, that was beautifully phrased, the mycelium part. I love that. I think, honestly, personally, from very subjectively for me, places like this, the Academy, are incredibly important to foster on-farm research, as well as sort of inner development for farming communities, to having a free space where there's no agenda that comes from either only the political space or only the science place or only might it be the economically forced models that we have at the moment acting. So yes, it is a place of the different thought streams and school of thoughts coming together and understanding where are the approaches that best serve healthy farmers, healthy communities, healthy ecosystems, but then also providing a space where we don't have a doctrine, or we don't come with an ideology of set identities that we're seeing a lot in farming. So very dual, very binary, the good and the bad. I've been calling it the beauty and the beast agriculture. You know, it's sort of black and white. It can only be the best thing we can ever have, and the worst that is bringing us climate change and that bringing us all these horrible emissions. No, it's either or, you know, it's not any of that. It is this very muddy space in between where we have incredible solutions that most of the time, I have to say, are developed over the last decades already on the farms or within farming communities, and that don't find their way into scientific programs yet, because the scientific models that we use to measure things and so on are quite reductionistic in that. So we have been forcing that approach a lot to understand where can we break down those identities, where can we break down those boundaries, and where can we, without, I'm not saying skip science, not at all. It's just how do we propel each other forward to a point where we understand where do our real levers lie for ecosystem health and people health, and how do we bring transdisciplinary all the actors together that need to be sitting at the table, and obviously that needs to be the farmers themselves in the middle of that table. Yeah.
No, that's incredible. And I mean, respectfully speaking, you're right. No one is discarding science, because the whole thing that we're doing is also science. Farmers are scientists, except this time around, we are all really yearning and longing for a design that really counts into place the complexity of what we're dealing with. It's much more complex than complicated. There's lots of moving pieces together. So it is definitely important. And I think harvesting from just what you've shared as a story, I can see that this would then promote thriving spaces, whether for farmers, for research, policy. How are you reaching out to, like, maybe a group like consumers to also bring them in? It might be people who are not yet actively in the movement, but like, what are those efforts of bringing out your voice and the communication from the academy?
Yeah, that's the consumer side is an interesting one, because yes, first of all, we all eat food, and second of all, we sort of are all entangled with that world automatically as soon as we get up in the morning. What we have been, a very concrete example with the academy, what we've been building up the last 5 years are the organic marketing days, where we bring together the German, and then sometimes it goes into Denmark, Netherlands, Austria, and Switzerland, organic associations, as well as small to medium and large producers that has also supermarkets, discounters, as well as local shops in them. So everyone along the value chain from field to fork, really. And we come together and discuss how do we best communicate the organic movement every November. And that is quite a pillar stone next to the BioFach, which is the biggest organic congress in the world, that is taking place in Germany every February. And those organic marketing days are an interesting example for communicating, yes, to the consumer, but then also communicating the values that we hold within the different sustainable agriculture and farming, as well as production models, so that we truly understand where those values lie, first of all, yes, and which kind of systems are making sense economically and socially, and then the for us, or within the academy, it's really a matter of bringing together those stakeholders, understanding where the different communication marketing strategies lie, understanding how to propel each other so that we bring out a force onto the German stage to move closer together within the organic world, specifically in this case, and understand how power structures and dynamics from the discounters and supermarkets to all small scale producers can be and this is again a transdisciplinary approach, can be used so that we get more healthy food onto the tables in Europe, but also we get a greater awareness within consumers for organic as well as healthy foods. Yeah.
That's really incredible. You know, I feel like we're getting to that space where centers like yours are going to be so important for regional shifts as well. You know, imagine that a center in Germany can be linked with the center in Austria and Spain. The same way you guys are part of the European Alliance for Regenerative Agriculture. I imagine that same knowledge exchanges can be generated through institutions like the academy. And so how do you see this growing going forward? How do you see it influencing even policy going further? Because you guys in Europe are leading in the movement, and we're truly like grateful for seeing those examples of people who are quietly having their feet on the ground, but also really showing lots of great strides. How do you see the academy building up to something bigger that will start knocking on policy doors? Yeah.
I think maybe to the basis of that is you don't have to always be big to be heard. And we're seeing this on the European stage at the moment.
Yeah.
That's a lot of diverse actors uniting and coming together do or have a great voice that we need to really properly listen to. And there's big shifts within the European Union at the moment. We just heard the strategic dialogue on the future of agriculture last week, presented by Ursula von der Leyen, our EU Commission head. And there was a milestone in bringing together diverse voices from all areas to understand where the food system is headed to and the future, and give consultancy on that. And with the academy, we really see ourselves being a small lighthouse in an ocean of big lighthouses, and many, not big, but many lighthouses, fostering those conversations that are sometimes not easy to have had and need to be done though. So I think the example is if you sit in a conference room and what are the questions that the audience is too afraid to ask because they linger in the background, but they are actually the important questions to ask. So within the small team that we have, but being this nucleus, we strive in the future as well to act to bringing these pioneers together and having those voices heard that we think or that we not only think but that we together gather that really propel the transformation that is so needed as fast as possible on the whole European stage. Yeah, and being a partner to EARA, for example, is this is how we work. We partner with as many, and we are as inclusive as possible to as many of the incredible European movements, as well as groups that come together as possible, and that for us, so if you are a group out there and a movement that works towards that, please reach out. We are very happy to work with you and seeing how to collaborate. But yeah, it's a time for collaboration to understand that, and this is also something that I've learned over the last years. To foster serendipity, to really see if we come together, sometimes our trajectories and ways are not how we envisioned them before. They are non-linear. They go in all sorts of directions. Do we even know where forward and backward is? I don't know anymore. Sometimes. But to understand that the power and the beauty within people coming together and sharing their struggles as well as their visions and hopes for the future, there is so much room in between for serendipity to have really amazing movements evolve. So yeah, we are here to provide fertile soil for those to come.
Thank you for being a lighthouse amongst a sea of lighthouses. That's one thing that I'm walking away with, that each person who is active in one way or another in the movement, regenerative, agroecology, permaculture, holistic management, you are a lighthouse in a sea of other lighthouses across the world. And I think the beauty of what we're doing here, we're capturing this recording. There will be a story that will be listened to by, for example, you're talking to me in Zimbabwe, you are in Germany. Someone in another part of the world will also listen to it, and they get a spark that we truly don't have to be big to bring the influence that we need. Movements are made of individuals who are full of fire within them, to show that a thing can be done, a collaborative can be created. I truly honor that truth, and I truly honor that design, and the space within which you guys function. On that note, I would like to just welcome you to say your final remarks. It's this thing is being recorded for World Food Day. Your important message as a person in this stead, standing for your beautiful country and your beautiful continent. Any remarks that you have?
Maybe one that has been for me the sort of my own motivation is it gets really hard along the way, when we have to show a lot of discipline to keep on those topics that are so dear to our hearts together. But the beauty that is seen from regenerating ecosystems and environments and people within them is just the most radiant force and energy that we are witnessing. And if we can foster that, and if we can come together, and we've got the people for it, we have so many amazing people for it, then the getting up in the morning and working on these is easy. And I'm delighted that you are doing this People Food Summit, and it's beautiful, and I congratulate it and you on it, and it's a joy to watch your space and watch it for the next years. There's incredible things to come.
So much, Josefine. What a beautiful thing it is to connect here. And I hope that sometime soon, things going well, we will meet in your country or my country on regenerated soils, eating farmer-produced foods from our local communities for the thriving of all living beings in nature and in human communities. Yeah, all the best with your work, and congratulations for a beautiful design at the Academy, and all the hard work that you guys get to do. And truly, it does get difficult as we go, but I feel like these chats are also like such energy points as well. So when you sit and listen, to know that there's also a small group in Germany that are pulling the same way. And for your own interest, the Regeneration International team We are also a very small team, but I think sometimes because of passion and, you know, being able to really be available and stretch yourselves, we can all do big things like this, and like you guys are doing big things, even if you're just a small team. So congratulations and thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, and can
Yeah,
only
thank you
give
so
back.
much. Yeah, thank you for your
And
time.
you're welcome in Germany anytime. Come and visit us.
Yes, thanks. I'll remember that.